Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be continuing the alternate future series with episode 3. So, last episode we saw the Chinese Civil War, and we saw this, the East African War, basically. It was the East African Federation, Ethiopia, and Somaliland versus Somalia, Eritrea, Sudan, and Ethiopia. And Israel was on Ethiopia, the EAF, and Somaliland side. And I guess Djibouti, but they were like kind of neutral, but still invaded. So yeah, I guess technically they were on the third side because they still got annexed. Anyways, so let's just get straight off to episode 3. So immediately we are going to talk about the Syrian Civil War. And in real life, this is what it looks like right now. It's like 2027 in this timeline right now. Actually, no. So if this Chinese Civil War was 3 years, and then the Ukrainian War ended, and Belarus, United, and Georgia got taken over, was all about like 1 year. That's 4 years. And we had the Chinese invasion, 2 years, and then this was about like 2 years as well. So let's do some math. 1, 3, 2, 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus 3 is 7. So 8 years. 25 plus 8 plus 25 plus 8. So 30. So it's 2033. What? It's 2020. Wait, no. It's 2033 right now? That's absolutely insane that it's 2023. Stop saying 2033. Anyways, enough about that. Goodbye to the... What is happening? Goodbye, government. Okay. Now they fight. But they're not going to do that. They're going to actually draw borders to make peace. So let's see this peace treaty, as the Syrian Civil War just pretty much ends right there. So I'm not even going to cut away, because there's really nothing to cut. I mean, you just get the paintbrush out, turn the brush, go in here, draw a border. And the border will be about this, and bam! Syria conflict over. But we still gotta give land to Turkey, because they were part of the Civil War. Well, they weren't part of it, but they invaded. And we also gotta give some to Israel, which Israel proposes, okay, so Palestine, you want to unite together? And they say yes. And we just have them uniting as Israel and Palestine. So now this is just basically Jerusalem now. Oh, Morocco and Western Sahara. So, you guys didn't know, in real life, Morocco and Western Sahara have been fighting each other for... Well, no, Morocco has been in control of most of Western Sahara for a while. So, yeah, but, so, you know, in this alternate future, we can see that, after about them controlling like a ton of land, we're just gonna see them get completely captured. Now, I don't want to draw the border if they're already just gonna get completely captured, so sorry guys, but anyways, they get completely captured. But now we see we have to go through Algeria and Libya. That is great, because Algeria and Libya are going to defend Western Sahara, so they both join. As I said, we're going to see the US join this war, mainly because they're allied with Morocco. So immediately we have US and Moroccan troops going into Algeria, and they start a massive front here in the northern area, and it ends up being successful, with Algerian troops and Libyan troops going through over here into southern Morocco, and these landings are mostly successful, except for this middle one over here, which gets repelled by the Moroccan army, and they also get pushed back by the Moroccan army right here. The USA bribes Italy to bribe Tunisia. And Tunisia says, okay, okay. And Tunisia joins the war on the side of Morocco and the U.S. Italy is going to be switching their supporter side. So they're going to be actually, I shouldn't use that color. I should not use that color. They're going to be supporters. It's kind of not looking too good. Mostly for Tunisia. It's not looking good. Well, they're able to make some landings as there is U.S. troops. There is U.S. troops in Libya. Wait, no, not Libya. Tunisia. And they're now officially invading Libya over here, and Libya can basically not really handle this, but Algeria definitely can, even though they are getting invaded. Libya is taking more of the blow here. Over here in Algeria, it actually is looking pretty good, as they are pushing them back a lot. Actually, they start actually going through Tunisia, and Tunisia can't really defend themselves here, but they're winning in this front, so that's all that matters, right? And eventually, Italian troops are commanded to invade Algeria through Tunisia, and with a combined strength of Tunisian, Italian, and American troops, we see them get completely pushed out, and we see the reconquest of Algeria, the reinvasion, yes, the reinvasion of Algeria, and they even connect fronts down here. And they start pushing in over in this area over here. And that army capitulates. And over here in the Moroccan front, we can see that Morocco is pushing deeply into Algeria as they're distracted by Tunisia, which American troops are also in Morocco. And Algeria cannot hold this. While looking at Libya, we can see that almost their entire coast has fallen to Italy and Tunisia. And eventually, the coast is completely taken. And there's nothing they can do about it. The war is over for them. So, they are planning to leave the war. But we have a surprise contender joining the war, which will be Egypt. People are surprised as Egypt actually joins the war. What? Why did Egypt join the war? Why did they do that? Well, it's to get some land, as they lost the Sinai Peninsula last episode. So they start invading. Libya. And Tunisian troops, Italian troops, and American troops are ordered to push into Egypt. And Egypt's absolutely not prepared, as they're actually very, very, very weakened. Mainly because of the last war that they fought. So right now, that would be like a year ago, as that was the last thing that happened in episode 2. And this takes like 2 years after that, so 2031. And they haven't fully recovered. So, they're not gonna win. Spoiler alert, they're definitely not gonna win this war. I think we already knew that though, so no problem. You know, the spoiler isn't that big of a spoiler. And with this, Libya is about to collapse. And I mean full collapsation. We see rebels popping up in Libya, specifically in the southern region, and they start taking over the southern region and even invade Algeria to get some land, though these rebellions are pushed back. But Libya cannot hold these rebels, and they pretty much break loose, and they start seeing that the Libyan government isn't going to do anything about them. So they start expanding immensely in Libya. And eventually, whoa, what just happened? Why am I on see that the rebels have completely taken over Libya? And they're now the new Libyan government, and they decide to surrender to the Red Country, but they do not surrender to Egypt. And they even push all the troops out of Egypt since they're pretty weak, and even rebels can beat them. And we can see that, we can see that Egypt is not having a fun time over here. It's just not going well. And even Israel, Israel Palestine, aka Jerusalem. Sorry guys, forced to habit, but Jerusalem joins this war, and they're back in it again for round 2. And after this, it just completely falls for Egypt. Egypt completely falls, and they are completely forced to surrender, and they have no way of escaping this. And with Algeria all left alone, they're swept under the rug, and France can't do anything about it, or else they're going to have to fight the U.S., which, well, yeah, that's not going to look so good. Anyways, Algeria coast is completely taken. Algerian coast is completely taken, and they are forced to surrender. Let's look at this peace treaty. Looking at this peace treaty, we can see that Morocco lost land to Algeria, and they also gained Western Sahara. Morocco gained the Western Sahara. Tunisia gained land from Algeria and Libya, and Italy got this occupation for about like a year. And the Libyan rebel group, the Libyan rebels are now the new government, and they took some land from Egypt, and Jerusalem got a minor border adjustment. And yeah. So speaking of occupations, we have to zoom back all the way over here when the Chinese Civil War happened. The Chinese Civil War. So for their efforts, Korea and Japan helped Manchuria in the Chinese Civil War. They got these 2 occupations zones, which were only temporary for like 5 years. And according to my calculations, it has been about 5 years with the new war, with the Syrian Civil War concluding would only be like a few months. But this war has probably like been over like a year or something. So that means these occupation zones should be gone, which they will be very soon. Oh, they're disappearing. There goes Korea's. And then now we have Japan's to go. And Japan's is now officially gone. Goodbye. And the occupation zones are now gone. The occupation zone's gone. Okay. So China now doesn't have any occupations under it. But Libya still does. Now, speaking of civil wars, we have the Russian Civil War. So we have the Ukrainian rebels here trying to get independence, which they get most of Crimea, and they even cut off Crimea. But they're about right here right now, actually. Oh, by the way, Kaliningrad just broke away. Okay, that's crazy. Some Belarusian rebels. Wow, we all expected this. So we even have this south region over here. I don't really know what it's called, but we can see that it's also breaking away. And Georgia's just locked away, which means Georgia just declared independence. Great for Georgia. And Russia still can't do anything about it. So what about Crimea? What's happening in Crimea? Oh, Crimea is actually completely away from Russia. Russia can't get to Crimea anymore. So, you know what's going to happen next? Right. Yeah, we all saw that coming. Well, nothing else could go wrong. Of course it's gonna go wrong. I keep saying that statement, and you guys can't, like, keep thinking that nothing else is gonna go wrong. Of course more is gonna go wrong. So we have the Finnish rebels. Over here we have Japanese rebels. But anyways, you have another rebel group to deal with, and, well, It's Japanese rebels. And Russian Civil War is finally over. Russia says, okay, we'll sign treaties with you. Let's see how this peace treaty is. So, as we can see in this peace treaty, we can see that Finland's gained some land, mainly because that the rebel group joined them. Well, the rebels unified with them. Kaliningrad gets independence. Belarus and Ukraine are now independent again. So, those annexations of Georgia, Ukraine, and Belarus were only temporary because now they're all back with their original borders. This region, I think, I'm just going to call the Caucasus region, is released. And then over here, we have, yes, Japan getting all this land because of the Japanese rebels. So that is it for this episode of the Alternative Future series. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.